So this episode of A Little Off Track we recorded about, 6 weeks ago with our friend Chris Carr, an amazing musician for over 30 years in Monmouth, Illinois. He's a friend. He sang a couple songs for us. Then we had some major technical difficulties. We thought we lost the episode, but thanks to the magic of our producer, mixer, master, Billy Colvin, Laid Back Manor Studios, we got it back. So without further delay, here's our conversation with friend and musician, Chris Carr.
Live from the Laid Back Manor Studios in Galesburg, Illinois, you've gone a little off track with Eric and Ted. Enjoy the ride.
Yes,
I'm very aware.
That's what made me a bad interviewer for the longest time. You remember me and you with radio and guru Valerie Geller sitting in front of us, and she said, when you're interviewing, if you are waiting to talk, you are not listening. Like you're talking, and that I'm just waiting to talk.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm developing thoughts in my head. Instead of listening to the nuggets and the gold that Chris Carr has given me, I'm already on to the next subject because I'm scared
I think some of that's true, but I think part of that is what makes you good at what you do.
Yeah. Well,
you especially. You're not. There's never been any dead air time in your world.
Good. This is 100%
I was just telling
true.
somebody the other day, and this is on topic, off topic, and you were doing a live
broadcast
somewhere.
Yeah.
And you said, Chris, time me. I think it was a 30-second spot you had to do that commercial with.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, hey, this is Eric Hans. We're live from blah, 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 blah. Okay, stop. And I was like, 28. And you're like, fuck. 2 seconds off.
2 seconds off.
I really do live in a 30 and 60-second world.
Well, the funny thing was...
But you felt like you were off over 2 fucking seconds.
When we were on the air together... Eric would just be like, we'd be having our breaks, our conversations on air, and he'd just be slapping buttons and clicking the mouse and like pulling shit down. And I'm like talking to him, and then like all of a sudden he'd turn over and he'd look at me and he'd like deliver this line, and I'm like, I don't even know how you do that. And so I was always just the color guy.
So when I went on vacation,
it sucked because
I was sitting at that board, which really, if you sit at it for 14 years, it's a big Fisher Price toy, right? Right. Mixing boards. Billy knows the same. But if you don't, and all you do is sit at the guest mic the whole time, that can be intimidating because you do got to do it.
And so before he would go on vacation, he's like, okay, so this week you're going to run the board while I sit over here. And those were some of the worst shows.
And he's over there in front of you like, what the shit? I actually do remember.
But on air, he'd be like, you got to push that dial up. You got to bring this thing back. And I'm like, dude, we're talking about very important things like that Florida guy who just ran over an alligator with his lawnmower.
I remember that. I think you may have been the very first radio interview I ever did. And we'd met maybe a couple times. We weren't friends as we are now, but we were acquaintances. Yeah. And you were doing exactly what Ted was taught. You're talking and you're doing like you're painting the room.
Yeah.
And I remember you're doing your thing, blah blah blah, and you're like, and Chris, and I'm like, are we doing something?
Are we live?
We're not friends. You're like, his face changed, his voice changed, and like now we're.
And Eric looks at you and he's like, did you not see the red on air light above the door?
Yeah. I just painted the trim, goddammit. You know how to know.
This will take us back to around the time when I first met you. You were always nice. And then I remember we had a little bit of a rapport. And Cherry Street one night, I was in there. I didn't know you were coming in. And you came in and my wife was standing next to me. And I fucking forgot Chris Carr's name.
Hey, this is my friend.
Oh,
long
worst.
Pause.
It was so bad. I was standing there the whole time. I'm like, fuck, I can't introduce my wife because he probably, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it was uncomfortable and we ended up walking away. I don't know if you remember that or not, but
I actually don't.
I felt pretty bad.
But I'm still guilty of that today.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
It's not somebody that I just met. I can do that with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Said your name.
Those are the brain cells that we burnt in the 90s.
Yes.
Turns out they don't regenerate.
We called this podcast A Little Off Track because we knew even before we did the first one that we would get off track a lot, and that's all right. But Pods Pinion. So if you've heard of Pods Pinion, I'm first band.
I think lid was the most common thing, but it was Jeff Ansel, Brian Campbell, Chris Hendricks.
Lid.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were incredible.
Yeah.
And I looked up to them like I'd like to be like that.
That's the band. Yeah.
And somehow or another, they invited me to join, and it changed. And a lot of people will be like, oh, come on now. But it was way better before I joined them.
Pods or Lid.
Yeah, but which turned into Pods Pinion.
Yeah.
But they were in my eyes, they were a little more like free form. They were really good musicians and could kind of do anything.
Yeah.
Riff.
Yeah, and they could just do it. And I loved it. And when I came along, I've always been so like sort of structured Monkees 2-minute songs, you know. And
What'd you come along as the guitarist?
Vocals, guitars, songwriter. Everybody was writing.
Yeah.
Which was cool, and it was great. But we did some really fun stuff and did some great stuff after that.
Yeah.
But it changed their dynamic, I think, because they were just so fucking good, man.
But wasn't that the start of Chris Carr, Jeff Ansel love affair making music?
So yeah. But we had met before. I think most of us had met when we were about 16.
Was there always a kinship with him?
Even when we weren't playing together.
Yeah.
No.
What was it? Was it the commonality of music, or?
Yeah, I think, and we actually met. I think we were in 16 time, and I think I don't even remember. It's so odd to look back and think of how the hell did you communicate back then?
Right.
Because I don't even think we had a fucking answering machine.
No,
you just had to hope that they answered the phone.
You had to hope that they were there.
Yeah, but I think we met like in Music Land.
Oh my God!
So great.
No, wait. For our
like
younger audience, Music Land was a store in a mall. Now, a mall is a place that had a bunch of shops in it that you could go and shop together. And Music Land was a place that sold nothing but music.
Yeah.
Like, you go in there and get cassettes and CDs.
And
singles.
At the right birth age, vinyl.
Well, did Musicland ever have vinyl though?
They did.
Okay.
Did they really?
Yeah. I remember this going in.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think it was still called Musicland. But
Musicland was owned by Sam Goody, and did it turn into Sam Goody?
It did turn into Sam Goody.
Yeah.
But it was Musicland locally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forever. Yeah. Speaking of vinyl, why they still had it in the early 80s, I remember when Lick It Up came out from Kiss.
I have that.
Yeah.
The one I bought.
And I think it's a great cover, and they did it right. They were standing there, white background. Here's what we look like.
Right.
And that was the thing. That was like, they'd been
I was so scared to walk into Musicland, Chris, because I knew right around the corner on that one wall where they displayed the new shit, like the best bands, whole wall filled with white albums, Kiss. Me and my brother walked in. I swear to God, we stood there for 10 minutes going, oh my God, that's what they look like?
I remember I was at the skating rink, which was a thing.
Oh, yes, it was.
And
Skate Palace in Galesburg?
Yeah.
No.
Monmouth.
Rainbow Roller Rink or whatever. But
yeah.
I remember I always went to the 7 to 9:30 shift at the skating rink.
Okay.
And would come home.
That's a good time.
It's a great time.
For a teenager, right?
But my mom and I would watch Friday night videos. You remember that?
Yes.
So for
this is a throwback episode.
Yeah, let me get my walker. But I remember, I don't know if it was a birthday party or something that led me to stay into the 9 to 11 shift. And I think Friday night videos may have been 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Because
10?
that was...
Was it?
Yeah. No, it was like at the time when if your parents were still up, you're like, I'm missing half of the show because they were watching the news, the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And you're like, they put the best shit on in 10 to 10:30. Like, I got to see that.
Yeah. And I remember coming home because I was a Kiss fanatic, you know, but at that time...
Which surprises me where your musical taste went, that you were a Kiss fanatic. But go ahead.
Yeah. I still kind of like them.
Yeah, I know. What is it?
But I remember coming home and like knowing that they were going to play the Lick It Up video, and I was going to miss it. And I wasn't sure, like, the scales, like, do I stay home from the birthday party or stick home and watch the premiere of Lick It Up to see what these guys look like?
That's so great.
Went to the birthday party. I come home, and I'm like, Mom, what'd they look like? And her answer was like, kind of what you think they would. That was so I had to, I don't even remember how I had probably saw the cover.
That's great. You know, Gene and Paul.
I was thinking my mom was going to be like, his tongue is really 8 feet long.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's like, I just kind of like what you think they would look like.
Yeah, and it was Vinnie Vincent and Eric Carr, so we really didn't care about them so much. We wanted to see we already knew what Peter, because I remember going back a couple years before that when Peter got kicked out of the band or left. Me and my grandma were in Giant Foods on Main Street, and People Magazine, Peter Criss without makeup, his 52-room mansion. I was like, I
don't remember that.
My grandma was mean. I mean, if I looked at her, she backslapped me with her hand. It was just... So, getting her while we were checking out groceries to get me that People magazine, I blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, it was like gold. I don't think I opened it for 5 days. I just looked at the cover. I'm like, that's Peter Criss. But Gene and Paul on the cover.
Like the Playboys had the brown paper on.
Yeah.
You couldn't quite get yourself to peel it off to see what it looked like.
That's
hilarious. So... It's funny because, I remember, and you guys are, way older than I am.
Yes, right.
But 49?
Yeah. But my brother was listening to, Quiet Riot and the guy who had the jet.
The Jet?
Yeah.
Iron Maiden?
Iron Maiden
yeah.
and stuff like that. And so I absorbed that kind of by proxy as I was a little younger, just, 4 years younger than he was. And so when I was going to the skating rink, my best friend and I, he lived 2 blocks, and this was back when it was dark out and 9:30 at night and your parents didn't care if you walked to the skate rink, right. He had the boom box, and we were blasting Licensed to Ill by the Beastie Boys.
So
Also with an airplane.
With an airplane, yes. So it's fun. I never had that Kiss kind of connection.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying about those first impressions of people that you're waking up one night or one morning, and my brother and I shared a room, and he's blasting Quiet Riot, and then it goes into something else afterwards, and I'm dreaming that I'm at the concert, and that hand up and fingers out, and I wake up and I'm like, I don't even know what this song is.
It seemed more like a We're Not Gonna Take It thing. You were a Twisted Sister show, I think.
No, there was maybe. Possibly.
Thanks for spending some time going a little off track with Eric and Ted.
Did you not, with the band Pods Pinion, did you guys not take a trip to New York City? And why did that happen? Was there an opportunity there?
I don't recall exactly what it was. But
How do you not recall your trip to New York City?
No, I recall the trip. But I don't remember the exact, because I was always sort of the
designated driver.
No. Actually, in that bunch, maybe. That's not good. But no, I was always sort of maybe the rest of them were, but outwardly, I was kind of more of the dreamer. I was the one that sent tapes, everything you saw in the back of Rolling Stone or whatever, send tapes here and you're going to get signed by a label and all that.
Is that what you did?
I think so. And
so you got a response?
We did. And we went to...
and we're talking 1993 or 4, too?
Probably closer to...
91?
No, a little later, actually.
A little later, okay. Mid-90s then?
Maybe 7 at the latest. But anyway.
Okay, yeah.
But we got, had to have been a letter maybe.
Yeah. Well, it was an email.
And it said what? No. It said get on a plane?
We drove. But it said be here this date, blah, blah, blah. And we went to this big complex. I believe it was called Broccoli Rob, which I've looked it up in the last decade or so, and I can't find any evidence of it. But
so the 4 of you.
Oh yeah. And this place was the size of Walmart, maybe even 2 stories. We booked a hotel, and I think we even gave I think I borrowed. My dad was one of the first people I ever knew had a cell phone, and I think maybe even a bag. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he sent that with me. Anyway, we go to this place, and we walk in. And your room is here, kind of this room off the side here. And that was where we're going to rehearse.
Okay. Were you going to play live or record a song?
Well, we played. I'll get to that. But so we go in this, and we're really not even sure what we're doing, why we're there, who we're there for. It was a complex. There were models there. There were bands there. There were any sort of art type things there.
A talent warehouse. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Walmart was in the beginning.
Exactly. But no, but we, I even remember there was like a window, like almost like you would go to pay for your gas, but you could be like, I'll take 2
D-string, 3
exactly.
picks.
Oh, wow.
Pedals. It was everything. And you kind of signed out and took it in your rehearsal space and then put it back. And we were like, still kind of like, I'm not real sure.
And there were other bands there and other artists all over the place.
There were. It was kind of, but you were still kind of secluded. You didn't really get to interact with anything. One cool thing, though, is we were told the night before, Kool and the Gang rehearsed in the space.
That's so fucking great.
I have no proof of that. But
That's so awesome.
But anyway, so the next, like hours later, we go into a sort of a live room. I don't know, maybe it would hold 100 people.
Yeah.
And then we're standing on this stage, and we're like, well, there's really nobody directing us to do what.
And there's no crowd, right?
No, but anyway, the side door opens up, and like 4 guys in suits walk in with dark sunglasses on.
Oh, my God.
And I think it's sun's still out. It's not late at night.
But it's New York. You got to wear your glasses.
Right. I forgot that.
Yeah.
And we played, and they're like, oh, we love it. We'll go back to or go over there and get a beer and a burger or whatever, then go to your room. We'll get a hold of you.
Do you remember, did the track you played go off like you kind of wanted it?
We played like almost like a 40-minute set. Maybe.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Maybe not that long. I don't remember for sure, but it was definitely more than.
Do you remember, even though you guys didn't have a clue what the hell was going on, was there an excitement amongst the 4 of you? Like
there was, but there was also, we're from here. That seems just a little bit out of the touch of reality for me. Like we're not going to go to New York and then go on a European tour.
Yeah, there's no way this.
But
is
in
real.
the back of your head, you're kind of thinking, well, maybe that's how
we're
this
here,
works.
so maybe yeah,
we're already this far. We might as well. But we went back to we actually went to that bar that the guy suggested, and we drank a lot. And mostly because we kept thinking that maybe this phone was going to ring in an hour. Well, after about
it's just like a movie. The bag phone's sitting there, they're waiting, they're getting drunk. Like, this phone is their life.
Even my dumbass probably told the bartender or the waitress, like, "Here's my number in case they call here." You know, that's how naive I probably was.
Yeah,
you're like picking it up every few minutes. Yeah, there's a dial tone still.
We're like when they asked for Chris,
no, it's not busy.
Yeah.
You've been in New York City for an hour and a half. You are known.
Yeah,
they're gonna know where you are. Yeah.
By the way, I'm Chris if they call. But anyway, we went back to the room and kind of sadly gave up. And I remember sitting like with my feet in the bathtub, just no water, just sitting there, kind of like, man,
So everybody's kind of tense and nervous.
Talk these guys into coming out. No, I think some of them might have even been asleep by then. It was like 1:30. Phone rings. And I'm like, all right. They're like, hey, Chris, it's whatever. Eric, Ted from
Bob Schmeigel with the sunglasses. You met me earlier.
Yeah, it's BMI or whatever. Like, come back over and we'll talk to you a little bit. And I like wake the guys up. I'm like, what? Like, they just called. We're gonna go back over and talk to them. But we go into the second floor of this place, and there's a sliding glass door, and it says BMI on it. And I'm like, well, that seems pretty legit.
Yeah, I owe this some money from their CD club. Yeah. That's BMG. That's BMG.
But that's a good point. I'm like, oh, that's why they brought us here.
That's what they brought us here. It's a sting. It's a sting. They want
their 12 cents back.
Yeah. You have not bought your 3 Clubhouse albums yet.
We gave you 12. You still owe us 20.
Yeah, but no, we went and
what
they were kind of pretentious, and maybe they deserved to be. I don't know, but we just all kind of left scratching our heads and like.
The response to you was what? Did I miss that part?
So they offered us like a publishing deal, some kind of record deal, and I know Billy does for sure, but Bill Fry.
Yeah.
On Center Stage and was
in Monmouth, Illinois, and
very knowledgeable and that kind of stuff. And I brought him back this 3/4 inch thick stack of papers, which was a contract of sorts.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This is really exciting."
Oh.
And I asked him, like, "Can you look through that for me? Because I don't know anything. I don't know."
So they sent you on your way and said, "Get back to us."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I read the first paragraph, and I knew maybe 3 words, those being a, and the. Probably.
Therefore, we own your ass.
Yeah. And I
heretofore.
I gave it to Bill. He called me a couple days later, and he's like, "Come on in. I want to talk to you, whatever. And
so you read the fine print.
Well, he did, and all over the first page was like yellow highlighters, like highlighting sentences.
Yeah.
And those yellow highlighter marks were not positive marks. So he's like, this is kind of a cool opportunity if something were to happen. But if something didn't happen, your ship is really going to sink, like financially. Like we would
because they're going to give you an advance and you're not going to be able to pay it back when you're single crash.
And they're going to own everything that you do.
And I think I think maybe we were just lucky enough to be not intelligent enough to understand everything, and because I think a lot of people back then probably jumped at that opportunity.
Yeah.
And they're now our age, just about to pay off the stupid thing they signed.
Oh wow! Yeah. So you would really have to pay them back.
Yeah, it was studio time. Like I think we had to record somewhere in LA-ish, and it was
so they throw you that $80,000 advance or whatever, and then you're confident enough thinking,
well, you're 18 and you get 80 grand and you blow it.
Yeah, and you think we're going to go out on the road and make that back, and we'll pay them back. But a lot of times that doesn't happen.
And I don't even know for sure if that's exactly how it was going to work. All I just know is Bill Fry was like, this just doesn't look great unless something really great happened.
I love it that you guys took that journey, though. Is it something you talk about with those guys or reminisce about every once in a while?
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, remember when you almost screwed us? That was so cool.
And I think it was because it was like kind of my like idea, and I'm like, oh man, because I was sort of, like I said, kind of the dreamer chasing this stuff, and I think I kind of really talked everybody into it.
So what? It was amazing.
Great
for
memory.
A bunch of 18, 19, 21 year olds.
Well, hey, and back in that day, like you made that trip to New York for probably like $40 in gas.
Yeah, you're probably right. And the hotel probably wasn't even that much more than that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Jeff, at the time, none of us had any money, but he had like whatever a pack of smokes cost then, a couple bucks or something.
No, but it was like 99 cents.
Maybe, yeah. But I remember we stopped at a gas station in New Jersey, and like the pull cigarette machine. Yes. And I think he smoked like Camel Lights at the time, and he pops it out, and out drops a pack of Camel non-filters. And that was like his last money. He's like,
oh man,
you have to choke them down.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Those are rough.
They are.
Be a long ride.
We used to mow this old man's yard, and he had Lucky Strikes, and we needed a cigarette, so we took them, and they were Lucky Strike shorts. Oof. Yeah, smoking behind the garage.
You got to be built for that.
Your lungs can't take that when you're 11.
Especially off freshly mowed grass.
Jesus. Chris Carr, we're so glad you're here today. I know you got new music out. So, latest project. There's a lot of bands in between Pods Pinion and Statues of Ash. Statues of Ash is a project with Eric Christian
and Adam Stuart.
Stuart, yeah. I can hear Chris Carr and Eric Christian both in there. That influence of both. Is that the case? Did you both kind of clash? And you guys have a kinship anyway. Yeah,
we do. But oddly enough, the basis of the sort of core of those songs were written by Adam Stewart.
Yeah, that's awesome.
On bass. We just kind of followed what he did.
That's so great.
So that's been kind of fun already. Like, because a lot of times, a lot of things that I write a lot.
Yeah.
I was kind of like...
Did Adam bring it to the table before you brought anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before anybody did.
That's
we actually
so great.
Came over and he's like, I just got some stuff. And we just kind of recorded some bass tracks.
That'll teach you lead singers to talk shit about bass players.
Yeah. No, and and I don't mean this to sound super negative, but where I'm kind of tired of hearing just like what I come up with. So like him like somebody else, like me being able to do whatever I do on top of what it revitalized the whole.
You're saying collaboration is fun.
Yeah. It's way more fun, but it's all in the past.
It's better to
Billy,
play with.
anybody can tell you that it's sometimes just, especially at our ages, just get people in the same room at the same time.
It's better to play with someone else than yourself.
Like what we said, it's been a year to make today happen.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So it's definitely the Statues of Ash thing has been a fun start.
You're going to hear clips of those two songs, "The Sky and I," right?
Yeah.
And what's the other track?
The King Wins Again. We got a couple. We got pretty much demoed like a full record's worth of stuff. But
and Chris is going to perform for us in the room next to us because we got room for that.
We're in a studio,
the Laid Back Manor Studios.
And I'm not doing any of those.
Truly Madly Mandy is proud to be part of the A Little Off Track podcast with Eric and Ted. If you want this voice on your brand, find me at trulymadlymandy.com.
From the A Little Off Track Studios here in Galesburg at Laid Back Manor, Mr. Chris Carr.
Thank you, boys.
Final page and I really haven't read a word. Something awaits but I never really understood. There'll be lights that come down. Will I get lost in the crowd? Final page and I really haven't read a word. Now I fly like the only bird in the sky, just to wave goodbye one more time. I'll decide where to fight or when to fly. Once you've said your goodbyes, I'll say mine. Something to be said, something to be said, yeah. Something to be said for tomorrow. Pulses fade like a feather that's lost its bird. Watch and wait until the mystery hits the dirt. Is there even a sound? Is there even a sound? Pulses fade like a feather that's lost its bird. Now I fly like the only bird in the sky, just to wave goodbye one more time. I'll decide where to fight or when to fly. Once you've said your goodbyes, I'll say mine. Something to be said, something to be said, yeah. Something to be said for tomorrow. Now I fly like the only bird in the sky, just to wave goodbye one more time. I'll decide where to fight or when to fly. Once you've said your goodbyes, I'll say mine. Something to be said, something to be said, yeah. Something to be said for tomorrow.
I can't believe that Chris Carr is in the same room with me playing brand new music.
That was banging.
Actually, he's not in the same room.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes you live in a kind of a longing, like sad tone with your guitar sometimes. Am I wrong? I'm not a musician, so I don't know that, but... Even in some
I
of the
think that's
upbeat
mostly
songs.
due to my inability.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
After Pods Pinion, am I right? Crash and the Witness and Ghost Town Choir were the bands afterwards.
Yeah.
What? And I know that you'll put out an album. There's not always if you got to see Ghost Town Choir live or Crash and the Witness live, you were fucking lucky because there might have been a handful of shows.
I appreciate that thought. The most, I think, when Billy and I kind of started in that Ghost Town Choir thing, we played a fair amount.
Yeah.
But that, not still a lot. But
Yeah. What was the reason for that? And
kind of, I think the same is like it's hard to get everybody on the same page and all that stuff. Like
you don't live, and you don't seem to be, because you've allowed me in with the camera many a time. So, but I'm just asking. I guess I should know this, being your friend, but I don't. Do you have performance anxiety ever? Do you get it some nights?
no, always.
Yeah, you do.
No, I've never not had it.
Yeah.
Even the thought of driving here made me nervous.
This is why you canceled on us 18 times.
Tell me
That's how I ruined your podcast.
Yeah. It's in the form of what? I'm going to fuck this up.
Gosh, I think probably
Self-doubt?
That's probably
Yeah.
It's same thing. everybody
Because
has.
it's ridiculous.
It's not unique.
Because I know that you write such great songs, and
Thank you.
I know you don't try to write hit songs, but there needs to be a Chris Carr greatest hits soon with just like 10 bangers because I could name like 10 that are singles that are hit songs, and it should have been all over radios. We tried to get a few on the radio. I think we did get a few over the years.
And I
there
really
should have
appreciate you
been
saying
more. I don't think has your music been pigeonholed as alternative over the years and doesn't always fit into the realm of
I one time had a guy, I don't remember who it was. It might have been a radio guy or something. Anyway,
It was
he's
Eric Hansen.
No, I would like to say so, but he's always been very gracious and always had a song when he couldn't play.
Yeah.
So I would like to shit on him a little bit, but I can't.
yeah.
It was sometime back, I think maybe like too rock to be college, too college to be rock. It
yes.
was like kind of like.
Yeah.
No, but I totally get what you're saying, because in the
vocally,
early,
like if I'd sang like, and I'm not being mean to any, but Chad Kroger or something, probably would have been.
back in those days, Eric on the laser and me just living in Galesburg and being El Nino for you when you called up and I was drunk.
Yeah. He was El Nino, the weather system. That was his character.
Yes, I am El
remember
Nino.
that.
Do you really?
Yes.
It was the best.
I didn't know that was you.
It was the best.
I do remember that.
I would call him and he just answers softly, like he always says, "Hello." I'm like,
Don't sound like that.
Dude. I'm like, dude, El Nino in 10 seconds. and then we just would do it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was lasers.
Yeah.
And those were the glory days of Eric being able to go a little off track on the laser.
Right.
Probably the same time when he was bringing you guys in, trying to sneak in at certain times, like, oh, I can play this from this time to this time, and I know that the general manager is going to be asleep, and Brian probably won't be listening.
That was 11 years. That was many years before we did FM 95 together.
Oh,
many.
yeah, that was many years.
Yeah. I don't know. But whenever I remember one time calling you, I'm like, what are you doing? Smoking hash and playing cards. What do you need? Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, it was a picking session. There were banjos and shit.
Yes.
There's a music circle going on. But still, the hash was there.
Smoking hash and playing cards.
What are you doing?
I need an El Nino, yes.
Oh, the
And
good
you
old
did it.
days.
You performed in front of all your friends there.
Make that your voicemail. Ted here, smoking hash, playing cards. What do you need?
Looks like you've gone a little off track with Eric and Ted, live from the Laid Back Manor Studios in Galesburg, Illinois.
You and Jeff Vansel, there was a time where sometimes I couldn't tell. I'd be like, oh, that's Vansel singing. Oh, that's Chris Carr singing. You guys shared, but man, complimented every band you guys were in. You and Jeff, whoever it was on vocals, was always awesome. Did you like singing with him? Did you guys harmonize a lot together?
Yeah, no, probably one of my favorite people to work with. There's a bit of a distance between us now, which makes it hard. We had talked about doing some stuff and done a couple things, but
Hey, man. Eric and I live across town, and it took us a year to get back to this.
We live
like between Peoria and Monmouth is like an eternity.
Yeah.
Hey there, could you light the streets so I can see my feet as I go nowhere? Do you have the time? I've lost all of mine. I'll wait here, right beside the stream. I can count the leaves that float by to nowhere. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. All I need is just you and me, some air to breathe in, maybe some porcelain horses. Maybe some porcelain horses. Maybe some porcelain horses. Blank stare right through the trees, just like a breeze. It's going nowhere. Hard place to find with the naked eye. All I need is just you and me, some air breathing, maybe some porcelain horses, maybe some porcelain horses. Maybe some porcelain horses. Take care. I'm finally sound asleep and I can breathe. It all starts somewhere up to the sky. There's no rewind.
Chris Carr in the A Little Off Track Studios.
A Little Off Track is brought to you by Laid Back Manor Studios in Galesburg. Ready to record your songs? Reach out to Billy Colvin at billyclvn@gmail.com.
Is it Guided by Voices one of those bands that it's hard to turn other people on? Do you not even try, or did you stop trying at some
I
point?
kind of gave up, and not, and because I just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Like, I have a really good friend that I met recently, same age as us.
As you guys.
Shut up.
Porcelain toilet over here.
Thinks he's a whippersnapper.
He's a whippersnapper.
But no, I pointed, like, that's a very long story, I won't tell it, but we're new friends.
Yeah.
And we're in the same stuff. We've gone to a few shows together. And I was like, well, so this band, Guided by Voices, and he didn't know him. And I kind of thought maybe he'd like, yeah. And he didn't. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
And that's where it's tough.
Never
like,
mind.
yeah, because how are you going to get you there, right?
But did you turn him on to him, though? And did he come back and was he like, wow?
He never commented on it. So I'm assuming that he didn't. I'm assuming that he was like, yeah, I'm going to, I got this.
Another one.
I'm going to go listen to the Cult.
And one we've seen together, I know you love too, and Billy told me to ask you, and because I've seen him many times, and a couple times by accident, My Morning Jacket.
Oh,
and,
just saw him a couple months ago.
Oh, that's so great. Let me tell you my story. The only time I've been to Bonnaroo was 2004 with my family, 5-year-old Emma Rose and Laura and our friend Annette. And there's clouds coming in, and we're walking away from a bluegrass tent. I can't remember who we just got done seeing, but there's about 15,000 people watching this one band, and I hear the intro to One Big Holiday.
I was going to say,
and we stopped in our tracks, and I went, "Who the fuck is this Southern rock?
We gotta
Where's
get there.
this coming from?" We didn't get all the way up. We stayed for a while. Okay, so fast forward 24 years later, about 5 months ago, I see that they release live recordings every once in a while. Bonnaroo, 2004.
No.
Yeah. Translucent green vinyl. I'm like, I don't care how much it is. I think it was like $38.
Just
Double.
need that.
Live from Bonnaroo, the show I was at.
That's
and
awesome.
Yeah, and I picked it up, and it's wonderful. They're so great.
Funny story. My brother is also a My Morning Jacket fan and lives north suburb of Chicago, but more often than not goes to Milwaukee to shows.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember how long ago this had been. I assume maybe the It Still Moves tour, maybe.
Yeah.
Or earlier. My Morning Jacket was opening for Guided by Voices in this little place.
Oh, shit.
The Rave, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And he's like, you should see these fucking hippies barefoot that opened up for Guided by Voices. They were great.
Yeah.
And my brother has been to, I don't even know how many years, but
Yeah.
he goes to the One Big Holiday Festival in like Mexico or Florida, whatever it is. That,
Oh,
like
right.
That, like that weekend
Yeah.
thing.
Where the hardcores go.
You watch them standing in the ocean or whatever, fighting off sharks or whatever
Yeah.
they do. But my brother was the first person I ever heard mention that name, and they were opening for Guided by Voices.
That's so great.
And I just saw them in Louisville a couple weeks or a month ago, probably. But
Ben Stomberg, who and you know Ben, right? We've been to many.
I think he-
Oh, let's see.
I think-
Ben.
I think you and I think it was you and I and Ben maybe that went to Pearl Jam.
We did, yeah. And I had many United Center shows, and you were at
to St. Louis.
Oh yeah, we called you with the last minute ticket.
Actually, I had a ticket. I don't remember how it worked. A buddy of
That
mine
was my ticket. No.
We did 95, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good too.
Wait, we did St.
If you
Louis
say
together
so.
Yeah. And actually, my friend,
with a bunch of radio station people.
you and I and Ben, I think. But
Okay.
I had a ticket from a friend of mine that was in the 10 Club or something
I took Ben.
from Chicago, but he was already going to be there. And you're like, well, just ride with us.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Done.
We did a United Center show, and Ben and I are sitting on the side. We had a long trip up, and he knew Mighty Morning Jacket was opening up, and we're in our fan club seats on the side of the stage. We got great seats, and My Morning Jacket's opening. He goes, "I hope you don't mind. I'm going to fall asleep for these guys. I'm going to take a little nap. I do not like My Morning Jacket." I was like, "What?
Whoa.
What?"
You're calling Ben out.
He snoozed for 45 minutes and got up and rocked out like the 10 Club member he is. But, you know, they're not for everybody.
It's funny though. Like again, talking about my brother, we were in Louisville at a Airbnb with maybe 10 other people, big place. We're all gathered around like the kitchen table, or whatever. I said, "Well, my brother, he's seen My Morning Jacket like 30 times."
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, 38."
Wow.
Sorry, I was off by 8.
I'm not even close. Not even close to that many times.
I'm close
for
to
my
8,
favorite
but-
artist, but
You would have to tell me if I've ever seen them.
My Morning Jacket, no.
Okay.
I have not.
Eric and I, how many Pearl Jam shows have we been to
We've only
that
been-
I've remembered?
No, we've only been to one Pearl Jam show together. Yes.
No.
Yep.
Okay, tell me.
Absolutely true.
Which one?
It was 95 at the United Center, 25th row.
What about
right after a
Moline,
poker game.
Eric?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Moline, 2014. Yes, we have been to 2 shows together. You're
Remember, we just got done playing poker.
right. You were at the Moline show too, probably.
I wasn't.
Oh my God, that was an amazing show,
friends
man.
that were, but no, I wasn't.
Thanks for spending some time going a little off track with Eric and Ted.
I know, and I've thought about it recently. I even think about it on my own. If you had to leave tomorrow, one album, would it be a Guided by Voices record? And go on an island, you're going. You got to go by yourself, Chris. And we got a record player, we got a CD player, whatever you want. But
I
you can only
hate
bring
this
one.
question, by
I
the
know.
way.
Well,
I know 3 or 4. I would say.
I can
But
say
you can't. You can only take one.
Okay.
I can say yes on that, not only because I like them, but they oftentimes have 20 tracks. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna definitely find an album that has
lots
of
tracks. Yeah, there's always a lot of songs on Guided by Voices albums.
Yeah, so I don't want to pick, even if I don't know.
But you're taking one of their records.
Yeah, probably.
Said you're leaving in 12 hours for an island.
I'm going to take a triple CD live show of Pearl Jam in Moline, where they play all of an entire album.
Over the Dead.
Yeah.
You're choosing Over the Dead.
Over the Dead. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
100%. Because you get so much on that. I mean, there's some good hard punk on there, to going back to Eddie's roots.
That's a good choice.
I gotta leave tomorrow. I know the 5 I would take, but the one I'm at Pressed.
Yeah.
Live, Ani DeFranco, Living in Clip.
Oh shit!
You've liked that for like 20 years.
I've loved it for 25 years because I bought the vinyl. I bought the anniversary edition.
Yeah.
And I'm at the show, side 2, track number 1. That's why we bought it. I bought it and I said, Bloomington show, Wesleyan, it was a basketball arena.
I was there.
And me and my friend Dan and a few other people were there. So a track I was at on the double album.
I remember you telling me how much you loved that, and I couldn't bring myself to admit that I really didn't know that many of her.
That's all right.
Because I felt like I would have broken your heart.
I didn't.
Right. But,
Can I ask you
but
guys?
instead, I'm like, fuck yeah, man.
Can I ask you guys a question? Can we all get stranded on the same desert island so
Exactly,
we at least have, and then we'll be able to mix it up a little bit?
Looks like you've gone a little off track with Eric and Ted, live from the Laid Back Manor Studios in Galesburg, Illinois.
Statues of Ass stuff is on all your platforms, your Spotify, your Apple Music, your Amazon.
And there's a few more coming down the pike here in a minute. I don't know how to do that these days. You want to release a whole record hoping that people are going to be into the whole thing, but everybody's just releasing one at a time.
Teasers.
I still devour albums, but yes, I get it.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I know that's the ways of the world.
Yep.
Well, it's nothing that says that you can't be both. You know, you throw out some teasers and like, hey, if you like this, the album's going to be out soon.
You're not wrong, and there's not people standing in line waiting for me to put out a record, but I love buying a record that I'm looking forward to and putting
sitting
the needle
down on a Sunday,
head to toe. I don't want to hear track 3.
Yeah,
I want to hear the whole thing.
And my old Gerard turntable doesn't flip up, doesn't eject. So, and I always got it loud in the house, so I hear it skipping. So if I don't go turn it over, it's gonna keep doing that. So I gotta get up.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I will say too, sometimes there's a story to be told. Like throughout the whole thing. And I'm gonna throw out something that's maybe a little unconventional, and you guys might laugh at me, but like Eminem's latest album.
Yeah.
There are some tracks that are like 17 seconds long, but it totally ties into the track before it and brings it to the track after.
Yeah.
Do I need to get you and my wife together?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I mean, to listen to Eminem.
That's totally what I meant too, man.
Good.
Wink.
Wink.
We love to rap this thing called A Thing About a Thing, and we just kind of brag about something that we're devouring, like reading, watching, or listening to.
Something that inspired you.
That we think other people should be listening to. And Theodore, what do you have?
No, you go first.
I don't think I can.
Yes, you can go first. Well, it's not
all
always...
right. Off the top of my head,
it doesn't have to be something you're listening to. It should just be something you did, saw, or went to, or whatever.
Yeah, that you think you're putting me on the spot right freaking now.
Well, okay, I'll tell you. Like I had to actually today, because it's been a year. Mm-hmm. I had to go back and listen to some of our things about a things to kind of know, like, what did we actually do for those?
What you already talked about.
What I already talked about. But my thing about a thing is we did something that was totally out of our budget, totally out of our kind of wheelhouse. But my wife's brother, his wife, and their daughter, who's a little bit younger than our daughter, who's 12, we went to Disney.
Yeah.
And we went there for a week, and I was dreading it because 6 years earlier we went to Disney, and it was July, and it was hot, and it was horrible, and everybody was bickering and fighting, and it was just there were good ports. I don't want to.
So you did a 180 this time.
We went down there. We went in October. The weather was nice. We will probably be paying for it for the next 5 years, paying off those credit cards. But my daughter and her cousin, my brother-in-law's daughter, they had like the most magical time.
The magic worked.
It really did. And you know, the economy's rough right now, and shit is, money's tight and everything like that.
Did you get to see Mickey take his head off and smoke a cigarette?
No. Right after a game of poker?
We were playing cards and smoking hash together, man. Mickey, of course I saw him with his head off.
Mickey, you're looking a little rough.
No, but my thing about a thing is, like, if you're putting off joy, or if you're putting off pleasure, or if you're putting off the happiness of the people that are around you, don't do it. Like, all of those pressures about cash and money and bills are going to be there tomorrow, whether or not you do what you want to do, and sometimes just being with your family and being with the ones that you love and making sure that they had a good time. And I had to swallow some rage at some points.
Yeah.
Like, my wife actually looked at me at one point and she said, "You'd probably be having a lot better time if you were drinking." And I said, "What happens in Florida stays in Florida?" She's like, "I don't think so, man."
What happens with Mickey stays with Mickey.
Dave Ramsey would not take kindly to your throw caution to the wind.
No, Dave Ramsey would hate this advice. But what I'm saying is, like,
don't delay those things.
Don't delay memories, man. I mean, like, the joy that my little girl walked away with, and those 6 shirts that we bought that you go, "Oh my God, you want how much for a t-shirt?" were totally worth, like, the pleasure that was.
I don't know what you paid, but my Mickey shirt 26 years ago, and I still have it, was $35, so I don't even know what you paid.
Yeah, they're a little more than that now.
Yeah.
But I don't, so that this is how I think about a thing works.
A poker game.
It can be anything you want, but like that was my thing about a thing. And
that's awesome.
That's the one I wanted to go with. All right, now it's your turn.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you want me?
Yeah, Chris Carr.
I think my girlfriend would shake her head at me for even bringing it up, but I'm in a horribly deep rabbit hole of the shit we're ingesting food-wise as Americans.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep.
Yeah.
I'm in deep.
Yeah.
And
like through documentaries.
Yeah, I've been paying way too much attention to this.
Yeah.
But it's I'm not going to.
But it's in a good way. Is some positive coming out of it?
Oh yeah, for me, yeah.
Yeah, good.
But I also don't like to preach about it.
Absolutely,
but I think it's people should start researching exactly what we're throwing in our pie holes.
I absolutely agree. Yes. Yeah.
It's making us sick, and there's a lot of information out there. If you're even remotely interested, just start digging in, because it's a rabbit hole that I'm very deep in.
Are you growing your own garden at this point?
As best I can, but
only 5 plants at a time.
Size of my yard, and just if I could, yes, I very much so would.
We don't grow a big garden, but we grow a lot of tomatoes, and my mom makes this stewed tomato juice from like what we can't consume through the year.
I'm an old man eating stewed potato.
No,
most of my stuff
she takes it and she puts meatballs in it and like simmers them in the crock pot, and like it is better than anything that you're gonna find out there. And like it came from a cow, and it came from the backyard.
Yeah,
Mama Lois knows what the hell's up.
Yeah, she does. It's
kind of
true.
where I'm at. I don't really eat anything with ingredients anymore. Like a lot of the like bread and shit that's in our grocery stores are banned in most countries.
Right. Far out.
And it's really, I'm in too deep to even get started.
That's all right. Yeah. We're going to have a sub-podcast featuring Chris Carr, and we'll just go down.
That's why I don't want to say too much, because I don't think that I'm definitely not a know-it-all.
Right, but you're doing the research, and it's helping you.
It's amazing what I've found that is.
And we're men of a certain age, everyone in this room.
And I think that's probably what started.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can tell my McDonald's diet versus your non.
Well,
have you noticed though how like bread from the grocery store like doesn't ever mold? Billy is like, yes, he's pointing at me. Yes.
That bread is not even allowed in Europe.
No. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. No. What's your thing about a thing?
Oh, my thing about a thing. I really don't have one, except to say when Chris was singing, I had a moment of a gratefulness because not everyone can just say, hey, I'd like to do a podcast and have all these resources.
Right.
And I just had that. I had that moment. It was fleeting. It was like a zephyr, but I had a moment of gratefulness. So
I will say I'm grateful that I'm here. So thank you.
Yeah,
but I also enjoyed listening to you guys long before I was here. So I was listening to you, and so you keep it up. I do really get a kick out of listening
listen,
to you guys.
if we ever invite you back,
I'll come.
Yeah, okay, good. Now that you know you'll come, you won't break us up for a year.
And I'm bringing
again.
the fucking cards.
Yes. That just leaves who's bringing the. All right, so this podcast, I don't know when it's going to be on. It's going to be on real soon. We appreciate you listening to A Little Off Track.
You'll be listening to it when we release it, so
yeah.
it'll be out right now.
You're about to find. Oh yeah, we'll edit that part out, Billy. But the lady's voice you're about to hear, the young lady's voice you're about to hear, trulymadlymandy.com. If you need a voice actress for your business, for your life, to narrate your novel, for Audible or whatever, she is amazing. She's worldwide. She got a German review. I don't have it on my phone. From a German filmmaker.
That's awesome.
She did something in Germany and she got this glowing review. It was great.
And I will tell you this too. If what you want to say is something that you need your voice to be, she will help you make it the best that it can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get a hold of her for all of your saucy after hours phone tree needs.
She'll do that too. Probably, yeah.
Hey, and we got to thank Billy. Laid back manner.
Yeah, thank you, Billy.
This was an amazing experience today.
Chris Carr, we love you, brother.
I love you guys too.
Thank you so much for coming.
To get to meet you.
It has absolutely been a pleasure, my friend.
staring to the sun. Is that a noose or just a mask? You know you never can tell. I need to see the storm again. It keeps falling through the thin ice, and it seems the king has won again without even an arm to put up a fight. I need to see the storm again. It keeps falling through the thin ice, and it seems the king has won again without even an arm to put up a fight. There's more to find if you don't think twice. There's more to find if you don't think twice. Now that the clues have lost the map to the very start tales, it's only you hanging off the back and you know where it's so well. I know you hope to keep it known. I know you hope to keep it known. Is that you or just a mask? You know you never can tell. I need to see the storm again. It keeps falling through the thin ice, and it seems the king is born again without even an arm to put up a fight. I need to see the storm again. It keeps falling through the thin ice, and it seems the king is born again without even an arm to put up a fight. There's more to find if you don't blink twice. There's more to find if you don't blink twice. I need to see the storm again. It keeps falling through the thin ice, and it seems the king is born again without even an arm to put up a fight. I need to see the storm again. It keeps falling through the thin ice, and it seems the king is born again without even an arm to put up a fight. There's more to find if you don't blink twice. There's more to find if you don't blink twice. There's more to find if you don't blink twice. There's more to find if you don't blink twice.
Thanks for spending some time going a little off track with Eric and Ted.